right?
Day one?
Yeah, day one for sure. Like we've always...
We have 4 coaches right now. And we hire somebody new for something, whatever we want to learn next.
Real Estate Investing Profits presents Profit Masters with your host, world-renowned real estate coach and investor, Cory Boatright. Now, strap in and get ready to learn elite wealth-building investment strategies taught by 6- and 7-figure house flipping masters as they reveal their best real estate investing profit secrets to you right now.
What is going on, party people? This is Cory Boatright. I'm the founder of Real Estate Investing Profits and your host for Real Estate Investing Profit Masters. I hope you're having a phenomenal and productive and intentional day, right? Because we can be productive, but not be intentional. Get a lot of things done, but not the things done that we need to get done, right? So we are bringing you another incredible interview. And today it's with Jimmy Vreeland and Bob Scott. And these guys are from Joint Ops Properties. They're actually a brainchild of 2 United States military officers and academy graduates. You're going to love this episode. It is a little raw, okay? This is one of probably the first episodes I've had that had some cursing in it. But you know what? It was pretty raw, and I think you're going to get a lot from it. So I just wanted to let you know that there is a little bit of cursing in there. But it's pretty incredible what these guys have done and where they're coming from and their mindset and how they've been able to accomplish, securing over 100 distressed properties. I mean, rocking it out with how they're managing some of these properties, what they're doing that's different that you see other people doing out there right now, other investors, and how they're quickly able to execute and their mindset on execution versus just learning something new, okay? They have really, just lay it all out there. So you're going to appreciate how they've done that. They also have a podcast. So you're hearing more investors start podcasts. I think it's something pretty smart to do. And they are rocking with a lot of YouTube videos right now. So you're going to be introduced, if you haven't heard of Jim and Bob, to some great guys. They're also in my mastermind group for Collective Genius. Of course, you can always check out the information there on our website, and we'll put it in the show notes as well for you to, just check into if CG's a right fit for you as well. So I'm going to get started here, but before, I want to make sure that you have downloaded the Ultimate Real Estate Investing Quick Start Guide. You can text the word profit to 38470. That's 38470. Text the word profit. And you will get a link automatically sent back to you, right? It's called the Down and Dirty Ultimate Real Estate Investing Quick Start Guide. And I appreciate your support so much with that. I also appreciate your support for the reviews. Have you checked out our reviews lately? They're incredible. I really appreciate it. That means so much to me because I want to deliver and serve you the best way possible. And I'm doing that by bringing on just some incredible investors to give you all of their best tips. We call it their Profit Master strategy, that what's working best for them, their mindset, what apps they use, what's their favorite books, and motivation, right? Their why. We get into some deep things, and it's all because of you asked these questions. You wanted these things answered. And so that's how we created the format, and I appreciate so much your support. So make sure you leave a honest review right there at iTunes. And I appreciate you so much for that. Also, if you're interested in coaching, okay, I'd like to find out your investing experience. Where are you? Have you flipped a deal before? Are you doing fix and flips? Are you doing just wholesaling, lease options, short sales, long sales, whatever, right? There's so many different strategies. But I want to find out where you are. Have you never done your first deal? A lot of people have never done their first deal. Or have you never done your first wholesale deal? Let me know by going to CoryBoatright.com, CoryBoatright, right? No W. Cory Boatright. Or you can go to realestateinvestingprofits.com/coaching application, all right? Just like it sounds. So you're going to enjoy this episode. It gets a little raw. Like I said, there's some cursing. So, and if you're watching it from your desktop, you'll get to see the video. Otherwise, you'll just hear us in your ear, and I hope you take some notes and learn a lot from it. So I know I did. Well, here you go. Here is Jim and Bob from Joint Ops Properties. Jim, Bob, my man, what's going on?
How you doing, Corey?
Not much. How's it going?
What's up? All right. So I'm pretty pumped up about this podcast because you guys have got some interesting things rolling with Joint Ops. And I want to hear that story. I know listeners do as well. But before we roll into it, just a quick kind of 10,000 foot view of kind of who you guys are. What's your investing expertise right now?
And I just want to say how excited I am to sit so closely next to Bob for the next hour so we can make the camera frame.
Right.
Do anything for the fans, right?
This is actually how we work together. We sit this close and we're on our computers.
I got you. That's how it works.
Yeah, we specialize in single-family buy and hold properties with a lease option exit strategy. So right now we've got around 120 properties here in St. Louis, Missouri. That's our market, and we're both born and raised here in St. Louis, Missouri. But we say it all the time, even if we were not from here, we'd still be buying properties here. We think it's one of the best cash flow markets in the country.
It is cash flow heaven.
It is. You got some strong rents out there. And, you know, so it's interesting. How did you come up with the name Joint Ops?
So when you do an operation in the military and it's Army and Air Force combined, it's a joint operation. And so we were at a bar when we were first figuring out how to partner up and do it. And we're like, well, we need an LLC name. And I was in the Army, Bob was in the Air Force, and I'm like, Joint Ops Properties, let's do it.
And that was it?
That was it.
Yeah.
I love it. Sometimes, you know, overthinking things is that's what we tend to do. So I love it. I think it's great. Probably served you really, really well for the clients that you're kind of going after and targeting too.
Like part of the fun of this business is when you do create your LLC name, you need to make it be funny. So like tax returns, like you're amused. It's a little kicker.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think, you know, that is the fun part is, and did you have to actually go and look on, the register, you know, for, to see if, your name's taken?
You know, we did check, but we were pretty confident that one was available.
Cool. All right. So what was, one of your big influences for investing?
Well, I think we both probably got into it by reading the same book, Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
Absolutely.
And that was, you know, I think that's a big influencer on a lot of investors. And since day one, we've always been shooting for cash flow, you know, which is what Kiyosaki preaches. So we built our entire business and portfolio around maximizing cash flow.
Yeah, so there's the cash flow quadrant, right? Obviously, a lot of the listeners are familiar with the Rich Dad kind of philosophy, all the different series, and the cash flow quadrant is one of my favorites. So was there a time when you're in that kind of either employee or self-employed instead over on the business side? And if you did you have a breaking point that kind of pushed both of you or one of you over to investing?
So Bob's always been an entrepreneur, but I got out of the Army in 2008 and I was selling knee and hip replacements for 7 years. And, like one of my breaking points is, and it was a commission only job and you work all year round for your bonus. And in your mind, that bonus is like a big number, but it was like the second or third time I hit my bonus and I got my bonus check and half of it was gone, like day one.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm working all year for this check and half of it goes away. And I had read all of Kiyosaki's stuff and I was just like, the only place where I'm not going to get hammered by taxes like this is real estate. And so probably 3 or 4 years ago, like I was like, you know, it's time to burn the boats. Let's go. Like I can't do this anymore.
Right.
That's when we started really ramping up buying properties.
So, and you were an entrepreneur for how long, and what were you involved in?
I was actually a civil engineer in the Air Force and had about a 5-year commitment coming out of the academy. So I did construction management, project management, but then jumped into real estate pretty much day one after my commitment was up. So I flipped a few houses on the side. I did a subject to deal, and then I just knew, hey, when my Air Force commitment is up, real estate's for me. I went straight into wholesaling, did wholesaling for pretty much 2 years strictly. Started rehabbing. That did not go so well for me. I'm not necessarily a detail person, a follow-up person. So it just didn't fit my personality style. And then a few years after that, basically St. Louis was a really prime market for a lot of the hedge funds that were buying long-term holds. So I was basically flipping properties to those hedge funds. And then that's how we kind of morphed that into holding our own properties.
Right on. So what year was that what year did you guys like know each other for a long period of time? Or how long have you known each other?
No, not at all. We met early 2014, late 2013 at a mutual friend's birthday party. And just kind of after a few cocktails, we had military background. We both played football at the service academies, and we were into real estate investing, had a bunch of things in common, and I think I wholesaled you a property, made me a private money loan.
Like Cory, I was itching to get out. I owned probably 10 or 15 with a few other partners at that point, but I was like, I hate this job. I got to get out. And Bob's like, I need 30 grand for a deal. I'll give you a 10% interest. I probably stroked him the check that night. I was looking for cash flow and passive income like you don't understand.
Wow. That's cool, man. So it was just kind of like the meeting of the minds. And so after that, how long did it take you to start a company?
Oh,
I outbid him on a house, and then
he overpaid.
I overpaid. That house is now in our new system, but where was I?
You outbid. We did a few. I'd say less.
If Bob's poker face sucks, and I'm like, dude, we're in the same space, we have a same background, we're working together. Why don't we just try a few together?
Right.
And we did a 4-family together, and it absolutely sucked.
Yeah.
And so we were destroyed on our first deal together.
So how did you persist through it? You're like, all right, so at least we did these things right. Let's correct this on the next one. Or,
whenever you're losing, we doubled down and bought 5 more.
Yeah. Double down, baby. So a couple of things that was interesting. You're doing lease options right now. And so take me from where you were to where you are now. What kind of pushed you in that main direction and to really focus on lease options?
Well, we sucked at rehabbing, we sucked at flipping, and we sucked as landlords.
And not only sucked, we weren't making any money. We were chasing rent. Repairs and maintenance were eating us alive on rental properties. And so we're like, well, we got to try something different because this is not working. So
how did you kind of land on lease options? Did you learn it from somebody? Did you just kind of figure it out as you went, or what? How did that happen?
Yeah, so it initially got into it from Ron LeGrand coming to a RIA meeting. And we were just ripe for the message at that point in time. I think we had between our 4-family and some other properties, we had maybe 9-10 doors at that point, and we're just getting eaten alive, just trying to make regular rentals work. Right. And heard him talk, and his message was perfect. And I think within 2-3 weeks of hearing him speak, we had a non-refundable option deposit of $5,000 cash on a really low-end house we bought for $24,000. And I was like, hallelujah.
The whole comes with it, buddy. Sweat equity. The whole comes in the roof with it, right?
Exactly.
It's amazing, right? Like the aha moment of when you're probably hearing that message from Ron. You're like, yes, that's what we're doing. That's what we have to do. They do all the repairs. All our money's going away from repairs. So all of a sudden there's like that aha moment, right? And then you're like, I can get also $3,000 to $5,000 up front. This is it. This is exactly what we need to do. And then you get out there and you start doing it, and it actually works. It's funny because some people, they see some new strategy and they get excited about it, but they don't do anything. They don't pull the trigger on it, right? Because what if moments? What if this happens? What if I don't have all the I's dotted, all the T's crossed? I bet like you said, you guys did that pretty quickly right after that meeting, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
A matter of weeks.
Yeah. Matter of weeks. Well, kudos to you, man. That's killer. That's what it takes. It takes massive action, but also I think it takes massive inaction, right? So like, even if you don't know exactly how to take the action, you do it anyway, right? Just to figure out the steps.
Planning is completely inefficient.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
our mutual buddy Joe McCall was just talking about this massive imperfect action.
Yes.
Don't worry about the details. Just go, 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 go.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, same concept, right? Is if you don't have you don't have to get it right. You just got to get it going. Right. Is where I'm going with that. And Joe, I love Joe. I was just on the phone with Joe too. I call him Joe McCall. I love it. But he does these lease options as well. And he's doing really well with it. What happens? I mean, obviously you had 9 doors or so then. Now you're up to over 100 doors. Take me through one of your big challenges right now. What was one of the things that you had to overcome that you didn't expect? And how'd you get through it?
When we got to around 50 or 60, all our bankers were like, you need to hit the gas. You guys are growing too fast. Like,
hit the brakes.
Yeah, hit the brakes. And we're like, and we probably had $1.5 million in debt at that point. And we're like, you're not going to lend to us now? Like, we know what we're doing now. Like, those first 10, you were stupid to lend to us. We had no idea what we were doing.
Right.
And so it was a very frustrating conversation. And we would get private money for 6 months, get a tenant buyer in there, refi it out. And, we were constantly turning money.
Yes.
And so good at it and, not use bankers anymore.
Yeah. Right. So what was that like when you went to not using bankers anymore? How did you get funds? You get private lenders? How did that work?
We hired a coach. We hired Joe Fearless to kind of show us how to boost. I like to call it my soch, but our social media platform. And he's like, he does a podcast every day.
Right.
He's like, you guys got to do a YouTube video every day. We're like, oh, no way, dude. Like, that's not going to work. Like, that's horrible. And he's like, dude, just do it for a month. And, we did it for a month. And I would say then 6 weeks after that, we stopped talking to banks.
That's awesome. Because people just contact you, say, hey, man, I get it. I want to work with you. I got some funds setting aside, making 5 or 6%. You give me 10 or whatever percent, then we're good to go. Let's do a deal together. Let's see how it rolls.
Yeah, part of Kiyosaki's thing is how bad qualified plans are.
Right.
And then we found a life insurance strategy. So we found people with the right mindset, but we tapped into that vein of people who want to get away from Wall Street volatility. And that's where most of our private money comes from.
Let's talk about the Profit Master strategy, right? Your investing strategy. This is something where it's what's really working in your business right now that you can share, that other people can immediately take and get some results from.
You talking about like their own personal financing or like
just
running
in your business and what you're in your day to day. It could be an app, it can be a process, it can be a marketing strategy. You mentioned this insurance strategy, which obviously we're in the same mastermind group, and I heard some of those. I heard some of that when I came back into the room there with hearing you guys talk, and it was pretty involved and pretty interesting. Could you get through some of that now, or do you want to talk about maybe something else that's really working well in your business for a marketing strategy?
Yeah, we've probably got a marketing strategy that worked well for your listeners.
The life insurance is a whole nother podcast.
Yeah,
right. Like that happened on the calls. Like we had to stop and record a whole nother
let's just do a whole other podcast. Well, now you're getting everybody interested because that's what they want to hear about. But
that's what we do. We tease you and we take it away and say, go to our YouTube channel.
That's the takeaway. Go to my YouTube channel. I love it. All right. So what's your marketing strategies working right now?
So we've been using this software called livecom.com, and it's just like a text blasting software, but the differentiator is that it sends the text over the email network versus the cell network. So every phone number has a corresponding email address attached to it. So if you've got an AT&T number, your phone number at AT&T.com. If someone sends an email to that, it'll show up as a text on your phone.
Right.
So you can basically do text broadcasts, but it's essentially free because it's over the email network versus most text blast companies, charge roughly anywhere between 5 to 10 cents per text sent. So
right.
For our buyers list for lease options, we've got almost 15,000 phone numbers. So even at 5 cents a text, that starts adding up, where LiveCom is just a flat monthly subscription fee. And so every week we text out our new rent-own properties, and doing that consistently has really increased our business the past couple of weeks.
And how long have you been using it?
We did our first test maybe 2 months ago, and then consistently the past 3-4 weeks, once we kind of worked out the kinks in the software and figured out how we're going to actually use it.
So I actually know the owner of that company.
Yep.
Big Mitch.
Yep, Mitch Stevens. Yep. And he's doing exactly what you guys are doing. And, he just came into Oklahoma and we went out to, he spoke at one of the RIA groups. Great dude. I've been meaning to get down there to San Antonio to hang out. And that dude is really just got some great ideas. And that company, he continues to build some serious momentum with it. So that's great. You're one of the first people I've heard is on the show that is actually using it and getting some great results. So let's walk it through step 1, step 2, step 3 really quickly on what you do. Give me one example using livecom.com.
Okay, so we just basically wrote a quick little ad like, owner finance this 4-bedroom, 2-bath home in Florissant, which is one of the neighborhoods we have a lot of properties in.
Yep.
And then we will have a link in there to our website that has all the details on it. And we typically, use a Bitly.
A Bitly URL shortener?
Yeah,
okay.
To reduce characters in the text, just to keep it short.
Okay.
We were kind of just like, hey, screw it, and just texted 15,000 people at once. I would not recommend that.
Your phone melts. The phone melts. I mean, it melts. Yeah.
But basically, and I did that on the weekend, so I know people would be able to see it and maybe actually get out to the house that day. But we ended up having a spike on our website that day after doing it. We had 1,200 hits to our website, which for a local real estate company is like crazy.
Right. And did you have these phone numbers or email address, or where did you get the list?
So we've thankfully from the beginning of our business, since we converted to lease options, we've been running all of our phone calls through CallFire. So we had the records of everybody that's ever called us through CallFire, and
Perfect.
So we built part of the list from that. And then the other part of our list was from our website opt-ins, where people gave us their phone numbers. So we combined those two, and then I filtered out all the duplicates. And then once you upload it to LiveCom, it'll filter out all the landlines. So further reduce it. I mean, when we started out, I had a total of 44,000 total numbers. So reducing the uniques and then filtering out the landlines ended up with 15,000.
That's awesome, man. And from that, now you have a pretty solid list of 15, between probably 15, 20,000 names. And those, whenever you get other properties available, you just send a message out and say, we got another one available. Go to the website.
Yeah, exactly. And so we broke down a list to smaller groups of like 3,000 numbers each, just because it overwhelmed the LiveCom system and we were trying to text all those people at one time.
Right.
So now, we blast list 1 on Monday, list 2 on Tuesday, list 3 on Wednesday.
Is it like 5,000 at a time, or how many at a time?
Yeah, we do 3,000 at a time.
3,000 at a time, okay.
Yep, and just say, hey, this is our new property for the week. Go check it out.
Awesome, man. That's great. That's awesome. So this will be a little, this is kind of interesting. Do you have this is the tech side in me coming out. Just one question. Do you have a Facebook retargeting pixel on your website?
We do, yeah.
Great. So you're building.
Yeah, we get a lot of our traffic from Facebook. I mean, we spend anywhere between 150 to 200 bucks a day in our local market for lease option tenant buyers, and that's been working really well for us the past year or so.
That's awesome, man.
You were able to get rid of bandit signs because of Facebook.
Yeah,
which was awesome.
You're able to get rid of what?
Bandit signs.
Oh yeah, bandit signs. Now you get the virtual bandit signs.
It's so much easier, just with a few minutes to set up a Facebook ad. I don't have to find the guy and make the signs and order the signs, and it's overall way cheaper. So we love
it. Is. Yeah, absolutely is. And you probably have some conversions set up on your whenever they opt in on a thank you page. You've probably got those metrics set up as well. So you know what your traffic is presenting or what it's providing you, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool. That's great. Well, thanks for that. I think that's an awesome value add. We're going to put all this in the show notes. If you want, for extra credit, just to make the listeners really, really happy, if you could send maybe a screenshot of one of your ads, that would be awesome. I think a lot of people are probably asking what the ad looks like. If it's a picture of a person, is it your brand in there? Does it have a phone number where, basically is it circumventing the click so they can just call the number without even clicking, not even getting charged? Is there something that says text to us without having to click it so you're not getting charged? So things like that are, questions that probably some folks that may have, and you probably already have the answers to them.
Yeah, of course.
That's awesome. Well, what's a big challenge? What's a big challenge that you went through in this lease option kind of battle, if you will?
One of our biggest things has been bookkeeping. Jimmy and I are both high quick starts in the Colby scale. We're good at getting things going, but we're not good at all the follow up and follow through that having a real business requires.
Right. Yep.
We've had to surround ourselves with a good team to help take care of a lot of the details, the day-to-day stuff. But bookkeeping was one of our major weaknesses, and we're just now getting.
Oh yeah, I mean systems in general. Just when we grew so fast to actually have systems where everybody knows their role and everybody knows their place and what everybody's supposed to be doing. So
right,
kind of massively overhauling our business right now on just trying to automate everything and make systems for everything.
Are you using bench.co, or have you checked those guys out? Have you looked at zero.com? Are you using QuickBooks? What's working well for you right now with your bookkeeping journey?
Hiring someone else to do it and just showing up for the monthly report.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, bookkeeping, obviously it's worth the extra 500, $100 or $800 a month or whatever the number is. It's usually not much more than that, depending on how many LLCs they got. But especially on a wholesaling or just a lease option business, bookkeeping can actually be very, very reasonable. And it's funny, we try to save that money. And I know I'm speaking to a lot of investors because we can do it ourselves. We think, the money's no big deal. We can do it ourselves. That becomes a challenge whenever tax time comes. It becomes a challenge because it spends up a lot of your time on things that you shouldn't be spending time on because the money's already there. It's just juggling and getting the accounting for it. So I think it's smart.
I had this thought midway through, if you're in a business that can't afford a bookkeeper or probably a lawyer, it's not a good business idea. You need to stop.
Right.
Probably start over.
Yeah, I agree that's
we were losing so much money by not just hiring a professional. It's like, are we really going to chase dimes and quarters when we're trying to make big deals?
Right. I agree. Yeah. And plus, if you're ever at one point you want to sell the company, right? It's so much better just to have a P&L sheet and, have everything kind of lined up. But it is one of those things where it's not common, right? You don't think about, I just want to go make money. I mean, you think about, I just want to make money, right? Why do I need bookkeeping for if I need to go freaking make a check? But then after a while, you start making those checks, and then the last thing you come up with, oh man, I've got to move this money around and move this around and commingling accounts, and it gets a little. And I can imagine with partners, I mean, it can get a little heavy.
Well, we were bringing in $30,000 a month in deposits for lease option tenant buyers, but we were some months spending 25 on the make ready or the rehab. And it's like, it was moving so quickly. There's no way we could track where all the money was going.
Right. Well, that's good. I'm glad that is something that you're putting a lot of emphasis on, and I think it's going to definitely pay you in spades moving forward with it. So, what's a great lesson that you've learned to help you guys get to where you are today?
Just be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
I like that. Yeah, that's good. I like that. If you had to start all over, what is some advice that you give for new folks?
I'd say one of the mistakes we made early on was thinking that reality was going to match our Excel spreadsheet.
Prospectus?
Exactly. We bought this one property in South City. Our first deal together was a multifamily building, 4 units, and on paper, this thing was gonna gross $2,400 a month in rents. And, we were all in for $85,000, so, we were going to cash flow $1,500, $1,600 a month on this thing.
We were geniuses.
Yeah.
Genius.
And this was in the actual ghetto, like in St. Louis. We invest now in working class neighborhoods, but this was like inner city, like a blighted area.
Yeah. Okay. So what happened?
But we did it for $80,000.
Yeah. So it sounds good. What happened?
Yeah, so looking on paper, but what we didn't realize or getting into it was, one, these are older properties. A lot of these homes are built around 1890s to 19.
Oh my gosh!
Oh yeah. I mean, they're brick, they're solid, but like a lot of them have flat roofs, which even if you put on new, they are always going to have issues.
And the roof blew off 2 springs ago in a windstorm.
Yeah.
Completely off, just gone.
Oh man. Oh yeah. So so a lot more expenses, right? Yeah. So that's
it. And then also a lot of turnover, just because there are 2 of the units were 1-bedroom apartments that were rented out for like $450 per month, and if someone's paying $450 per month in rent for a 1-bedroom apartment, and there's just a lot of turnover. So one tenant doesn't like. They're just management nightmares.
Right.
It was really not our cup of tea. So.
And I wish someone would have told me that maintenance and management, really maintenance is an infinite liability.
Right.
And it will just suck out all your cash flow.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. It's something that is a huge expense. It's interesting because, we're starting to look more at commercial and apartment buildings now. And anytime we see rents come in, we just immediately cut 50% right off the top. Just immediately. And it's funny how we do that with another 10% vacancy factor, another 4 or 5% buffer. And then you get pretty close to the actual NOI of that deal. So just a quick formula on that has been actually very close to what those numbers are. So it's people always try to sell stuff on the best foot forward, but man, when you get into it and you start going through it, it is
So you on your spreadsheet you cut your rent revenue in half?
Yeah, 50%.
Wow. Yep. And then you base your cash flow off that.
No, when we're looking at, let's say, 100 plus unit apartment, right? And it has, let's say this one unit we have looking at right now it's 200 and something units, and it has 1.7 million coming in for the year. So we're trying to get the paperwork, which a lot of the owners of these apartments, they sometimes don't have all of their paperwork together. You'd think that they would. Some of them actually sometimes don't even have bookkeepers as well. You'd think that they do because of the asset, a lot, something that's $10 million, $20 million asset. But they don't. And so then you have to ask yourself, is that an opportunity or a liability? If an opportunity, if you know what to look for, right? So even though you don't have all your numbers there, we immediately go, okay, $1.8 million, cut it in half, right? And then another 10% factor off that for vacancy, cut that off there. Another 3 to 5% for a buffer, cut that off there. And so then we start going, okay, based on that NOI, right, what's the real value of the property? And start looking at things that way. And it doesn't work exactly the same way on single family. Obviously, there's some other factors involved, but it actually is pretty close on some of the commercial deals. So interesting, just an interesting quick formula.
Yeah,
what about a motivational quote or a business quote? Which one do you really love? Which one that kind of resonates with you guys?
My favorite one is just persistence is omnipotent. It's kind of a breakdown of a quote by Calvin Coolidge I got on my desktop, but
it's cool.
Anytime I'm just like, this sucks or whatever, I'm just like, just keep on trucking, keep your nose down and keep working. And it's always paid off for me.
Can I tell you the wisest thing I ever heard in the Army by a Green Beret when I was a cadet?
No, please don't. Yeah, absolutely, man.
We were on like a 20-mile march, and I was pissing and moaning and whining about a bunch of stuff. And I was still a cadet, so I was still in college. And this Green Beret looks over at me, and he's like, "You know what, Cadet Breland? Sometimes you got to eat a little shit just to make sure you don't like the taste."
I love it, man.
Whenever I'm complaining, that's what I say to myself.
I love that, man. There's another book, and I will think of it in a moment, but basically says, if you're gonna eat shit, don't nibble.
I like that. I like that a lot.
And get through it. And another one of my friends used to say, everyone in life has to eat a shit sandwich every once in a while.
Absolutely.
So, man, I mean, there's not a single entrepreneur that I've ever met in my life that hasn't went through massive challenges, ups and downs, volatility. And the difference is for the ones that succeed is they keep going. They just don't let the storm make them so fearful that they don't go out in the water. And they know that the storm will only last a certain amount of time before the waters will get a little bit more calmer, and so you can have a different perspective. So, man, persistence, I love it. I mean, persistence is one of the greatest qualities for entrepreneurs. I totally agree with that. I love that, man. It's a good quote.
It's about failing fast, and no one can fuck shit up quicker than us.
All right, I love it, man.
Is this an explicit podcast? I'm sorry.
I was waiting for the beers to come out, but I don't see them anywhere in there. I see the red Solo cups, and no telling what's in that.
It's just soda water. It's still early on Friday.
Yeah, it's real early on Friday. You know what? I mean, it's the reality of running a business, right? And sometimes it's not pretty, and you've got to learn as you go. Sometimes, man, sometimes you build those wings on the way down, and it's just the truth. As much as you want to sit there, I know people, right? I know people that are so good at ready. You've heard the Michael Masterson, or read the book Michael Masterson, Ready, Fire, Aim, or at least you've heard that concept, right? So I know folks that are so good at aiming. Right? They're just like, they're just so good at it, right? Aim. I mean, they get it to where it's just right on the bullseye, man, right? Aim, and they never fire, right? And then I know folks that are so good at just fire. And they don't aim for shit. They don't aim for anything, right? They just fire. But they're not good at aimers, right? And so the best kind of business is probably the kind that you guys have set up, where one of you may or may not be better at firing. One of you may or may not be good at aiming. But if you have both of those together, man, it can be incredibly effective on your execution.
Well, we're both really good at firing, but you create a team that forces you to aim. I think that's what we've done.
That's cool, man. Yeah. There's people always talk about being techie. It's like, if you're not techie, it's okay, but you need to find somebody that is, because these days you need to run your business with some of the efficiencies that technology allows. If not, you will be left behind. So, it's not a question of if you need to, it's when and how to get it in place. I know many people, I'm just doing my paper thing. it's worked forever. Well, yeah, it's worked up to a certain point, but it's not going to get you to where you want to go. And, that's where you got to involve new changes, and that's sometimes hard to do. But you don't have to be the person that necessarily goes right after the technology part. If you're not good at it, you just better get somebody in there that is. So like you said, building a team that's the answer. Yeah. So do you have a book that you recommend or one that's really changed your life?
Anti-Fragile for me.
Well, I know you said
Anti-Fragile and the Black Swan.
Black Swan and Anti-Fragile. Who's the author of Anti-Fragile?
Nassim Taleb.
Cool. What's that book about?
So the Black Swan concept is market crashes and just unexpected events like 9/11 and whatnot. So Black Swan's all about that. And then Anti-Fragile is about positioning yourself that you're best at volatile times. That it's not about, like, if you're good when everything's going well, it's kind of what we've been talking about. But if you're good when everything's going well, it doesn't really matter. You want to be at your absolute best when things are craziest.
Right. And like almost getting comfortable in the fire, right? Getting comfortable whenever chaos.
You still got it on the bookshelf?
No, I don't have it anymore.
The opening line is very profound. It's, the wind extinguishes a candle but strengthens a fire.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I love that. That's cool. That's cool, man.
Yeah, that book is incredible.
Cool. Okay. So do you have a mobile app you guys use? Are you involved with tech much? Is that something a part of your regular day? If you do, what's one of your favorite mobile apps?
We don't have an app that we use, but an app that's really helped our business is called Rently, and it allows all of our potential tenant buyers to go view a house without any interaction from us. So they download the app on their phone, submit their contact information, plug in their credit card, and then they got to pay 99 cents on the app. And then they can sign up to view any of our homes that are on the market. And when they get to a house, once they've scheduled a showing, they go to the house, they say, I'm here for my showing. Rently verifies that their phone is next to the lockbox, so you know that they're actually entering the property, not giving the code out to their friend, their cousin, or whoever.
Right.
Then it also gives them a unique code, so you know who was in the property when. And it saved us probably 10, 15, 20 hours a week of man hours where we have actually given out, taking the call and saying, oh yeah, the lockbox on this house is, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's, 555 on this house. Right. They used to take up.
What did Rently cost to get set up?
So Rently is $30 per month per box. So you actually rent the box, and then everything else is just 99 cents for the tenant buyers.
$30 a box for Rently. Okay. So how many boxes do you typically rent out?
We've got about 20 boxes.
Okay. So 600, let's just call it anywhere from a budget of $600 probably to $1,000 a month on lot boxes, right? And by doing that saves you 20 hours a week.
Oh, easily.
Wow. Yeah. Wow, man. What a great, some people listening right now, that's a big one, dude. That's a real big one. Some maybe have 50 properties or 20 or 30 properties. And so you're not obviously having to, with 100 properties, you don't have to rent 100 boxes. That's the first thing people think. Yeah. So you're renting about, about 20 to 30% of your total inventory.
Yeah. We buy anywhere between probably 6 to 8 houses a month now. So we're buying houses. Some are, in a little bit of rehab, some are on the market. And,
right.
And the other cool thing is we're saving the man hours, but there's also some hidden benefits. One, it's doing an initial level of pre-screening because we're filtering out people, one, who can't figure out how to use the app, and who don't have bank accounts or credit cards. And for the rent-to-own business or rentals, if people don't have a bank account, that's a one level pre-screening. That's They check that box, right?
Right.
So they're able to figure out the app. They're able to follow instructions, and have a credit card, have a bank account. And then it's also been a little bit of a theft deterrent, because before we just had the mechanical lock boxes, that were just on a code,
right,
and kind of just trusted people, hey, go in there.
right.
But we had a few properties because we weren't going to take the time to go do showings. I mean, it's ridiculous,
no, right.
No shows and everything else.
Right.
But we had some people in broad daylight go, walk into a house and act like they were an HVAC technician. And left with our furnace or left with our water heater. So it's probably saved us thousands of dollars by people being like, oh, I'm entering my name and my credit card.
Yeah, so they feel like their security, like they're scanned, right? They feel like they've been through the process. Yeah, I can see that. That's cool, man. That's cool. I think some folks would be like, why would you pay $30 a month when I could just go buy a $30 one-time box? Yeah. But adding those other benefits to it just makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and it also automatically follows up and asks for feedback. How'd you like this house on a scale of 1 to 5? What didn't you like about it? What did you like about it? So that way we're automatically getting feedback. And hey, if the last 10 people that saw this house say, whatever, I don't like the bathroom, we know, okay, if we're going to spend some money, let's spend it on the bathroom. That's what the kind of feedback we're getting, right?
I like that.
And then also our two sales guys, they know, hey, these are the hottest prospects to follow up with. I mean, we have a big funnel of people who are hitting our website and opting in. But until they go look at a house, you're not a real prospect. You're not ready to sign a lease option if you can't take the time to go look at the house.
Sure. That's great, man. Good stuff. That's killer. Great things. I'll put all this in the show notes. Do you get 8 hours of sleep a day, both of you guys, Jim, Bob?
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes even more. If I'm feeling sluggish, I mean, we both have a little rule where it's like we try not to have any appointments or anything important in the mornings, so we can control our mornings, get off on our morning routine.
I love that.
And just control the day. So I see, yeah.
Like an Anti-Fragile, he says he's never late to anything anymore because he doesn't do anything before 1. So other than our huddle on Tuesday, we don't have any activities before 1.
Really?
So we're still doing stuff, but he knows he's probably not going to get a phone call from me or an interruption before 1.
Okay.
And then it's it's kind of a Gary Keller idea too. You get your one thing done in the morning and then the afternoons for everything else.
Yeah, putting out fires.
Right. Where your sluggish tend to, usually at 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock time, answering emails, stuff like that. Yeah, that's good. What, do you have a morning routine? Speaking of that?
Oh yeah.
What is that morning routine?
Pretty big into Wim Hof and doing some cold water exposure. So
you'll like this.
Do you yell when you got in? So I get in. So it took me the first time. I couldn't even be under 15 seconds. I literally couldn't even be. I was just like, hoo-ah! I yelled so loud, right? And then after a while, you put your toe in. I figured out how you do it. You let the water come in. You put your toe in to get your body acclimated to that coldness, and then you can put your hand in, and your body in, and your head in. And then after a while, you can start doing 1 to 2 minutes. But 1 to 2 minutes is pretty much max.
What were you doing?
Just in the shower. I was just in the shower. I wasn't doing chromotherapy. I wasn't doing chromotherapy. I was just doing my version of it, just shocking my body.
Another good way to get acclimated is to just splash your face. It's called mammalian dive reflex. So basically, if you feel water on your face, that's a trigger to your body to send the blood to the core, so you can get it off with that.
So yeah, Cory, in St. Louis, I left my pool open all winter, and I jump in it 10 minutes a day.
Oh my God.
My neighbors think I'm insane.
Oh my gosh. Dude, when you get it, so there's a place in Dallas that's called, we go there, and it's awesome. It's King, it's basically all these different saunas, right? All these different, different temperatures, right? So one of them might be, one hot tub might be 60, 70 degrees. One of them might be 50 degrees. One of them be 108 degrees, 103 degrees, right? So you get in at the 108 to 109, 10 one, and you stay in there for 5-10 minutes, and then you jump out and get in the 60 degree one, right? Nice. And dude, it feels like knives just going through your body, but you have this awakening that's just awesome, right? It's like everything's tingling on your body. You feel so self-aware. It's like your eyes have opened really for the first time whenever you start having this just awareness from that. So why do you do that? I'm curious.
Like I do it, so like I'll wake up, like read for an hour, then I drop my kids off at school, then I'll lift. And then I'll lift for like an hour and 15 minutes. And then I got a gym in my garage. And then I jump in the pool for 10 minutes to kind of recover from the lift. But I think it activates your brain. And I think all the fight or flight reflex is in your bloodstream the rest of the day.
Yeah. I love that, man.
That's a case study of one though. So I don't know if it could really be documented.
That's cool. Bob, why do you do it?
For me, I think it's, a little bit more of a mental thing. Cause I mean, I've been doing it for pretty much 2 years, and like, you still have that, just like that, a little bit of hesitation. You're like, you gotta get your mind right before doing it. And it's always like, should I do this? And you're just like, yeah, I'm doing it. And I think it helps you like that, get over that little bit of hesitation or fear or whatever you call it. And it's just training you to just do that over and over and over again.
So my nephew's in the Air Force. And I was, a long time ago, obviously I'm 40 and getting ready to be 41. But, when I was thinking about going and enlisting when I was around 18, I had some things going on with my eyes, that I didn't move forward with it. But I have friends that are, and by the way, thanks for serving. Appreciate you. Everyone appreciates you. So what is it that, is there a discipline that was come from being in service that kind of helped you overcome fear, that was a mental training that you could share?
I think, the nature of the service academies is to they pretty much throw everything at you and do everything they can to make you want to quit. And you're just living from hour to hour. And for me anyways, in Beast is oh, can I make it to breakfast? Can I make it to lunch? Can I make it to dinner? Yeah. And so you're just just persistent and embracing the suck.
Ranger school sucked. It was miserable, but it's once you're through it, it's as far as facing fear, everything I did that was absolutely terrifying in the military, once you get through it, it's you're being a little bitch. It's not that bad.
Right.
So it's triggered that, yeah, you're scared, but just get through it. On the other side, I know it's not going to be that bad.
Yeah, man, that's good. I'm one of my our friend and business partner, Sean. He talked about as a Marine, he would say they'd sit down, they go, eat your meat, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, drink your milk, 5, 4, 3. And it's intense, man. But you would get minutes to be able to eat. And so I guess it's just pushing and pressuring, to see, like you said, you're finding out your breaking point. It's good because it serves you well and as an entrepreneur then, right? Things don't seem as difficult probably because you've already been through some of the harder things in your life.
Yeah, when you take on I think we take on a significant amount of debt. You wake up some mornings holy shit, what am I doing?
Right.
And it's a habit. You calm down, you look at it objectively, and you just keep going.
What point would you recommend hiring a mentor? How important has it been to you?
Oh, day one?
Yeah, day one for sure. We've always,
we have 4 coaches right now. We hire somebody new for something, whatever we want to learn next. But I wish I would have started. I wouldn't buy an education program maybe, but someone you can actually speak to, I think is a big deal.
Yeah. I've found a lot of value in buying courses and programs, and each one I've gotten been able to have at least one piece of thing that when implemented has served us very well. So we're constantly buying stuff. I'm every week I'm I want to get this, I want to get that, I want to get that. Anything I got to be slow down. You can't implement that much stuff. There's more to implement.
You got we listen to podcasts and we buy the coaching. You got anything you want to sell us?
Tim Ferriss says sometimes you got to watch it. You got to have a low information diet. Right. And I agree that you can get so much information. It's so easy. It's like a smorgasbord on the internet. And literally you can find anything you want on YouTube, how to, and then to your heart's content, whatever word you want to put after that. But what happens is most people get the information. They'll do anything with it. So I think if you're going to be a glutton on information, and my hand's raised, I love learning. I think you have to teach it or do something with it or go get a result as fast as humanly possible from what you learned in order for it to really have any difference, make any difference in your life. Otherwise, it's just going to fill up space that you could be filling up with something else to get a clear head and clear mind. I think it's important that you hit on this too, your one thing. So many people don't have that one thing. They just are going through the day as reactionary, right? So having that one thing is also predicated on the fact that you need to be proactive on what you want to accomplish for the day. There's a big difference between being productive and accomplishing, right? Productive, you could just be doing stuff all day long and you're productive, but what did you accomplish? Accomplishment comes from intentionality. I was just having this conversation with a student actually recently. And, we just get we get into this, what is it called? The rat race, the turning wheel, the
Rat race.
Yeah. The rat race or on the treadmill of life and things. And you think you're going somewhere, you think you're productive, but you're standing in the same place. So you have to be very intentional on what you want to accomplish.
When I was an employee, I'd be in the hospital at like 6:30 and I'd come home and I was busy, but was I making money? I wasn't creating any wealth.
Right.
So I understand completely what you're saying there.
Yeah, absolutely. What are you guys most grateful for? I mean, there's all these things you can do. What are you most grateful for at this very moment?
Living in this very moment. Like this is
it's the best
time to be alive ever.
Period. Yeah.
Like, where's my phone? I can do whatever I need to do, be entertained however I need to be entertained, learn whatever I need to learn through like some simple little phone.
Right. Yeah. It's just an incredible time to be alive.
Like when I hear people complain now, like they can't get ahead and stuff, like it really chaps my ass.
I know, right? I hate complainers. And it breeds too, right? And I don't hate the person, but I hate the complaining from the person, right? The person has been learning something at some point and they get to a place where they're frustrated and then they want to vent and they get into this process of just venting all the time and they create an environment of venting. And then you're not getting anything done. You're not being any way positive. And then all of that breeds. And it's like cancer. It starts feeding on each other. Other folks come in that are gossip queens and gossip kings. And they come in and all of a sudden you don't get anything done. And you're miserable with your life. Right. Yeah. So you have to find someone that says, stop. What is good happening in your life today? What is something that you're grateful for today? You got eyes. That's pretty good. You got a hand. You got feet. Let me show you 4 or 5 guys that don't, right? And they're still happy and they have a smile on their face. So yeah, I'm with you, man. It bugs me.
People 100 years ago, people 50 years ago had some legitimate things to complain about. Like it's hard to wake up and complain in this world.
We do before our meetings on Tuesdays, we got a sales meeting on kind of our project management, rent management report. We start all those meetings off. Everybody goes around a circle and we have a positive focus. So it's like, what is going good in your life? It can be business related, it can be personal, whatever. It doesn't matter if you woke up and you had a great cup of coffee that morning, or it doesn't have to be something big, but
right.
Every meeting that way.
That's great, man. I love that. I think it's so important too. Okay, so if you had to summarize, why do you do what you do? What gets you out of bed in the morning, right? What is that thing when you put your feet to the floor, you're like, let's get it?
I just love putting deals together. I don't know why. I like going and finding a great real estate deal. It's fun. I love it.
I mean, the whole concept of, since the day I picked up Rich Dad Poor Dad, the whole concept of cash flow has fascinated me. So it's just like what Bob's saying. It's fun to wake up every morning and just create more of it.
Yeah, it's awesome, man.
I mean, I'm very grateful that our passive / our own business income covers what I need for me and my family to live. Like I will 50 cents over that number. I cannot describe to you that amount of gratitude that I can have that type of life.
I love that, man. Yeah. It's like this feeling like Medley and I were joking one day and we're like, I don't even have to get out of bed today, and there's this feeling of like, yeah, if you really didn't want to, things would still happen without you having to personally get behind it and push that for so much. On the other side of it too, man, there's no stranger to hard work. But at some point you start asking yourself, am I doing the smartest thing and not just the hardest thing? Because I don't think the two it's really difficult to separate the two. I think that smart work often involves a lot of hard work. But at some point you start asking yourself, which one am I leaning on? Am I leaning on all the hard work and not the smart work? Or am I leaning on all the smart work and then, the hard work is either someone else is getting it done or I'm not just letting it go and stuff isn't getting accomplished, right? So it speaks to the other component of having a team and being good at certain things and focusing on the things you're good at and letting the things you're not so good at someone else handle.
And I think that was the downside of my military training. It's like I have to be the hardest worker here. It didn't matter if it was smart, because as long as, I was moving.
Right.
And that was really hard for me to kind of break away from.
Yeah. It makes sense, man. Makes sense. Well, what's the best way for folks to get in touch with you? What do you need right now? How can we serve you guys? Because this has been an incredible podcast. Got so many great notes, so many ahas. Appreciate you being real transparent and open. So how can we serve you guys?
Entertaining stories. You can go to our YouTube channel, Joint Ops Properties. We try to make real estate investing fun. We talk about some of the life insurance there. We talk about the LifeCom, some of the rent lead boxes. We see some of the great cash flow investments we've got here in St. Louis. We've also got our website, jointopsproperties.com.
Yeah, and watch it, be honest, and if it sucks, let us know. Give us comments so we can get better.
I love that, man. So what's the website exactly again for the way that people can get in touch with you?
jointopsproperties.com.
Okay. And that also goes to your YouTube page as well?
Or you just search Joint Ops Properties on YouTube.
On YouTube. Okay, cool. All right, man. I'm going to put all this in the show notes. This has been awesome, man. Really appreciate you guys taking the time on a Friday and to go through these things. And it can really help other folks. So thank you so much for doing it, man. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for having us, Cory. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. So make sure you stay tuned on the next podcast. So we're going to bring incredible guests to you, just like Jim and Bob, where they're going to discuss their Profit Master investing strategies with you so you can take them and use them immediately to get some results for yourself. So talk to you later. Remember, be a servant. Bye now. Hi, this is Cory Boatright, and I have a quick question for you. What is the fastest way to reach your goals? Is it to work harder, work smarter, use system and processes, or hire rock star employees? What about just making more money? Actually, it's none of that. Those things are a byproduct of the one success component that every real estate investor or business owner that I know all have in common. And the answer is clarity. Complete laser focus on what you want, why you want it, and what are you willing to do to get it. So where do you find clarity? By hiring a coach and mentor. Now, could you reach the level of success that you want to achieve by doing this all on your own? The Lone Ranger. Well, maybe, but do you think it would take you double or even triple the time to achieve it compared to hiring a coach and mentor to help guide your path,
provide proven instruction with a tailored blueprint that you can follow for building a real estate business that supports your lifestyle and helps you reach your financial and personal goals? Absolutely. Here's the fact. Time isn't recyclable. So I would like to ask you to make good use of it and extend a personal invitation for you to book a phone coaching strategy session by going to callwithcory.com. That's callwithcory, Cory spelled CORY.com. I'm going to ask you a few quick questions on that page, and we're going to go over and see how we can make sure that your business is on path to reach the goals that you want this year. So go to callwithcory.com, that's CORY, and book your phone coaching strategy session today. Remember, be a servant, and I'll see you on there.
You've been listening to another Real Estate Investing Profits Master Podcast Series. To receive your free real estate book, Down and Dirty, Ultimate Real Estate Investing Quick Start Guide, how to quit your job to start flipping houses in 90 days or less, head online and go to realestateinvestingprofits.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Real Estate Investing Profits. Thanks again for listening, and stay tuned for our next